Hello everyone, I'm MVL and welcome to another episode of Video Game Pickups. Lots of great games to show on this episode and gameplay footage will be included, but first up let's check out a couple of Fire Emblem Amiibos I picked up. First up here we have the Ike Amiibo. This is a Fire Emblem character and it's in great shape. Often you get these things where the sword might be out of shape or perhaps the cape or some other attachment, but this looks in really good condition. This is from the Smash Brothers collection, as you can tell from the base, and this is, as I mentioned, a Fire Emblem character. Looks very good, looks very cool, glad to have it. And I also picked up another Fire Emblem character, and this is Marth. So this is the Marth Amiibo here, another Smash Brothers collection Amiibo, which you can tell by the base, and it is another Fire Emblem character. And likewise, it is in very good shape. Sometimes, as I mentioned, the sword can be out of shape, or another attachment such as a cape, but this looks very good, and this Amiibo looks very cool, so I'm glad to have that. Now, another thing I'm glad to have is that I picked up a bunch of Amiga games, and I normally don't show gameplay footage for computer games because computers are often quite hard to capture or they don't work, and this is a good example because this first game I got sealed, and that is Bubble Heroes, which is a puzzle game for the Amiga CD. It's a CD game, and I got this sealed, opened it up, and there was damage to the disc, unfortunately, due to the age of the disc. So it doesn't work, but this game looks really cool. From the look of the gameplay, this game reminds me a lot of Magical Drop, which is another puzzle game I really like. And this game is also really cheap if you can pick up a working copy. So this game looks really good. It's a shame that this copy is not in the best of condition, but that's Bubble Heroes, a puzzle game, perhaps a hidden gem for the Amiga. Got some more Amiga games here. These ones are floppy disk games, and I got a bunch of these in a bundle together for really cheap. And the first one here is Gladiators, which is a fighting game. Definitely movie inspired, as you can see from the images of the game on the back of the case. This game has an interesting story, and it was just really cool to get a bunch of Amiga games together at a good price. These cases are a little bit weird. They're kind of hard to open, but each one of these does have a floppy disk inside, which is good. The next game I got from that collection is Hollywood Poker. Speaking of movie inspired, this is a poker card game, as you can tell, and this game contains actual digitized photos, it boasts. Now, there were a lot of games like this on the Amiga and other computer systems at the time. I got this dirt cheap with the other Amiga games, so it's still cool to have this in the collection. Next up, we have another game that is perhaps movie inspired, and that is Skrull the Barbarian. Reminds me a lot of Conan the Barbarian, and from the looks of it, this is a platformer which is fantasy themed. And the gameplay reminds me a lot of Ghosts and Goblins by the visual style of it. And from the looks of it, this game reviewed pretty well. So the consensus is that this is a good game. It looks pretty good, and I dig the visual theme of it, and that's Skrull the Barbarian on the Amiga. The last of the Amiga games here, we have Warlocks Quest, which is another game that reminds me of Ghosts and Goblins from the visual style of it. This one more so than the last game. And visually speaking, from what I can see, much of the gameplay screen is taken up by text, which is a little unfortunate, but this game does look really cool and I'm glad to have it. That's Warlocks Quest on the Amiga. Onto a PC game bundle here that I also picked up very cheap, and that is the Retro RPG bundle on the PC. Now, the title here is a little misleading. These aren't in fact retro games, they are retro inspired games. Free games here, we have Deadly Sin, Skyborn and Deadly Sin 2, and these games I believe came out around about the 2000 or thereafter, which I do not consider to be that old. It depends, I guess, on opinion in that matter, but these are more so retro inspired and still available on online services like Steam, I believe, and in actual fact, one of these games alone would cost more than I paid for this collection physically, so I'm pretty happy about that, and these RPGs do look really cool, so I'm very happy about that. They seem pretty awesome, and I'm glad to pick up a bundle of retro-inspired RPGs for a very reasonable price. So very glad to pick that up. That's a retro RPG bundle on the PC. And onto the console games. First up, we have Kung Fu Master on the NES. This is a beat-em-up game. You'll need lightning-fast reactions to knock out the knife thrower, stop the stick fighter, and trip up the evil Tom Tom brothers in this action-packed martial arts contest. Are you tough enough? Because it'll take all your strength and skill to master the moves in Kung Fu. Beat your opponents and rescue the fair Sylvia, who's held captive on the top floor. The action is non-stop, and just when you think you've got your enemies licked, there's always a giant, a snake, or a fire-breathing dragon to contend with in Kung Fu. So kick, jump, and punch your way to victory in Kung Fu on the NES. And next up we have The Jungle Book on the NES. This is a platformer. You are Mowgli, a boy raised by wolves, and rumor has it that Shere Khan, the man-eating tiger, is coming after you. So you've got to sneak, swing, and swoop your way through the jungle, catch the tiger by the tail, and reach the safety of the man village. To do this, you have to get the hang of incredibly tricky vines, neutralize venom balls, dodge coconut-throwing monkeys, and fire off bananas at any scorpions, vampire bats, or crazy apes that get in your way. So eat your potassiums. It's a jungle out there in the Jungle Book on the NES. Next up we have Aliens, Thanatos Encounter on the Game Boy Color. This is a top-down shooter. A group of Marines are returning home to Earth from a training mission. Along the way, they receive a distress signal from a large freighter, Thanatos. After failing to establish communications, they decide to dock and board the massive ship, join the elite Marine battalion on a mission to blast xenomorphs in the first Aliens game for the Game Boy Color. This game features a huge variety of alien enemy types, including facehuggers, chestbursters, drones, and soldiers. There are 5 different playable Marines, each with unique abilities, and there's over 12 different weapons to unleash. That's Aliens, Thanatos Encounter on the Game Boy Color. And next up we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer on the Game Boy Color. This is a beat-em-up game. In each generation, a Slayer is born. One girl in all the world, a chosen one. Become Buffy Summers and save the world in this collection of action-packed Buffy episodes for fans on the go. This game lets you explore 8 levels using Buffy's famous fighting moves to destroy demons and vampires, and each level features story sequences starring the cast. This is Buffy, and you are history in Buffy the Vampire Slayer on the Game Boy Color. And next up we have Mario Tennis on the Game Boy Color. This is a tennis game. Take your game to the next level with Mario Tennis. Get advice from coaches, test your ground strokes against the volley, then hit the courts to ace the competition and earn a spot on the varsity squad. Play your way to the top on your own in singles or power up a partner for doubles competition. When you're good enough, you'll enter the Island Open, where you'll face the fiercest players around and maybe even challenge the greatest player of all, Mario. In this game, Mario, Luigi, DK, and 20 all-new characters take their talents to the courts, and you can also create your own tennis champion with plenty of drills, challenges, and matches to take a swing at. And you can also hone your skills in wild mini-games like Mario's Boo Blast, Yoshi's Fruit Fantasy, and Bowser's 2-on-1. That's Mario Tennis on the Game Boy Color. And next up we have Montezuma's Return on the Game Boy Color. This is a platformer. In an adventure of epic proportions, Max Montezuma returns to retrieve his forefather's hidden treasure that's rightfully his, traverse perilous pitfalls, and explore dangerous caves in a quest for riches beyond the imagination. This game, which is based on the PC hit, is a huge adventure with 100 rooms and 50 bonus rooms, where you venture to collect keys and gems to unlock ancient mysteries. The quest begins in Montezuma's Return on the Game Boy Color. And next up we have a game cartridge which is missing the battery cover but still works, and that is Pokemon Pinball on the Game Boy Color. This is a pinball game. Discover a whole new way to collect Pokemon by playing pinball. Hit the targets with your Pokeball to catch and evolve Pokemon. The better you do, the more rare Pokemon you'll find. Every Pokemon you catch is automatically recorded in your Pokédex, so see if you can catch all 150. Some Pokemon only appear on the red table or only on the blue table, so you'll have to play them both to catch them all. You've gotta catch them all in Pokemon Pinball on the Game Boy Color. Next up we have BattleBots, Beyond the Battle Box on the Game Boy Advance. This is a robot fighting game. Enter the robotic mayhem of BattleBots and arm yourself for intense metal-on-metal action. This game lets you play as 16 actual bots, including Overkill, Minion, and Biohazard. And you can also create your own custom fighting robot and clash with up to 4 players in multiplayer battles. It's robot fighting time in BattleBots Beyond the Battle Box on the Game Boy Advance. And next up we have The Incredibles for the Game Boy Advance. This is an action-adventure game. Super strength, super speed, invisibility, and elasticity. These are your powers. Bombs, bullets, robots, and lasers, your enemy controls them all. The only way to survive, being the Incredibles, is to be truly incredible. That's The Incredibles on the Game Boy Advance. And finally we have Rodea the Sky Soldier Limited Edition for the Wii U. This is an action-adventure game, and this is the limited edition, which includes the game with a reversible cover, a hardcover art book, a soundtrack, a collector's box, and key to time pendant with chain. The game for this edition includes both the Wii U version and, as a bonus, the previously unreleased Wii version of the game as well. The Wii version of this game was the originally developed version of this game which you are seeing right now, but ill timing placed it at the end of the Wii's time, and development shifted away to the 3DS, even though the Wii version was basically complete. This version of the game is graphically colourful and uses the Wii motion and pointer controls to play. Power-ups can be found throughout the game and are a temporary bonus, adding things like firepower to defeat enemies or the ability to overcome obstacles in your path. The bonus minigames are also completely different in the Wii version, and they are 2D style side-scrolling sections as opposed to 3D challenges. The Wii U version, on the other hand, which you are now seeing, is graphically much darker and only uses regular gamepad controls. Your character can be gradually upgraded throughout the game, and these upgrades are permanent. Awkwardly, this version has a fuel system for flying, which the Wii version doesn't, so you are forced to land a lot to gather fuel. Attacking also drains the fuel much faster. For a game where flying is an integral part of it, what were they thinking? As you can imagine, the general consensus among players is that the original Wii version is the better game. It's crazy how different these games are, but personally, I definitely prefer the Wii version with the more colourful graphics, better controls, and gameplay. So take flight and save Garuda as you engage in aerial battles and explore a beautiful world. Soar through the skies in Rodea the Sky Soldier Limited Edition on the Wii U. And there you have it, those are all of my pickups for this episode of Video Game Pickups. If you like the video, be sure to leave a like or a comment to let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. And if you'd like to, you can also support me through Patreon or YouTube channel membership. Thank you for watching, I've been MVL, and I will catch you next time.